This segment brought to you by Heinen Brothers Ag, farmers helping farmers by offering quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia. Call today to protect your crop yield.
Yes, my name's Walter Fick. I'm a Rangeland Management Specialist. I have a kind of a split appointment, but extension is a key part of my duties. And this has been a pretty unusual winter and spring. I think at the first of the year, most of Kansas was in pretty good shape moisture-wise. But since January until now, here the last week or two, most all of Kansas has been drier than normal. But the recent rains will help green things up. I think we're still behind normal, but moisture along with warmer temperatures, we're going to see plants starting to grow very rapidly. And that's what I've seen out on the rangeland, at least in the parts of the state that I've been in. Here in the Flint Hills, we're still in the burning season. That's probably going to end here within a week, I think, because things are going to green up. Of course, we have had to deal with wildfires. The big one, of course, was the Anderson Creek fire down in Barber and Comanche counties. Actually started in Oklahoma. But we've had others. There's some other ones, I think, in the southern Flint Hills area. I think there's one that started kind of in Cowley and Butler counties that were fairly substantial size. But so we've had to deal with those issues. And of course, along with that, like I say, the weather's been very unusual. Seems to me like it's been a lot windier. Day after day. Yeah, we're in Kansas and the wind blows, but we've had several days in a row when it's been too windy for people who are maybe wanting to do a prescribed burn. Prescribed burning is a regularly used tool, particularly here in the Flint Hills area. It's been going on for a long time. There's always a number of reasons why people burn. Some will just burn to maintain the prairie as prairie. Because if we don't burn, we know in about 35, 40 years, it doesn't happen overnight, but we can convert grassland to a forest. So keeping the trees off, one of the first one that invades usually is Eastern Red Cedar, but there are others. But in order to keep them off, you have to have some regular frequency of fire. The use of fire as we go west in Kansas doesn't have to be as frequent. I think in the area where that wildfire occurred in south central Kansas, we'll refer to that area. Once every 5 to 10 years is probably sufficient to keep the red cedars off. In fact, when they do a prescribed burn in that area, usually red cedars is the #1 target. So we got brush and some weeds too that fire can help with in terms of keeping them at manageable levels. Another key reason, of course, particularly people here in the Flint Hills burn, is for stalker gains. These weaned calves that go out and grass, maybe 500-600 pounds when they go on. Burning, we've seen over a long-term average about 32 pounds of additional gain on each animal the year we burn. So that's a key factor that has some major economic value to it, and that's why some people will burn nearly every year if they can. There have been years in the recent past, though, like 2012, it was dry. There wasn't really anything to burn. But some people are burning every year. Again, if you're a cow-calf producer, that's probably not necessary. We might burn every 2, maybe 3 years out of 5, but that's mostly to keep the woody plants off and to maybe improve grazing distribution on the pastures. Those are key reasons. There are many others, but one of the things with these wildfires, if we didn't have all those cedars out there in some of these areas, then we wouldn't have this catastrophic fire. So reducing wildfire potential can be a reason for burning.
Earlier in my life, I rode bucking horses in rodeos, and my shoulders took such a beating, and that was probably the reason for having several previous surgeries on both shoulders. About a year ago, I decided that I didn't want to have another surgery. And so I contacted Kansas Regenerative Medicine, took their treatment process. It was relatively pain-free. Now, After 8 months, my shoulders have healed to the point where I think I'm probably 90 to 95% of normal. It takes a couple of months to start to see results with stem cell injections, but at about 3 to 3.5 months, I started to feel better. I started to have less pain and feel real progress. That continued to increase gradually until now at approximately 8 months. And I'm extremely pleased. I've got full range of motion. I can lift weights, I can throw, I can do a lot of things that I couldn't do without a lot of pain previously.